Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1301, written by Landank. The Missing 40 Minutes. Just a bit of background. No serious mental health problems other than some mild anxiety and depression. I take 25 milligrams of Zoloft, so I don't think I'm tripping or hallucinating. This morning I woke up for work, left a little earlier than usual because I woke up before my alarm, filled my water bottle, grabbed my access card, and got in my car and drove off. My commute is the same every day, 40 minutes. It's mostly interstate. There's always traffic. While my car is warming up, Subarus, am I right? I pick up an album to listen to for the drive there. I usually make it about 3/4 of the way through an album before I get to work. Every day is a new album. So I did all that. I drove to work. I remember being cut off. I remember being in standstill traffic towards my exit. I remember the album I listened to. I even remember responding to a text using Siri. I remember seeing a type of car I've never seen before in the US. I remember thinking to myself, I'm glad it's not as hot as yesterday. I definitely drove. So I get there to work, I pull into the same parking space I take every day, step out of my car, and lo and behold, I'm still in front of my apartment building. 40 minutes later, almost done with the album I put on. What the hell was I doing? Where did I go? I imagined the entire trip? Case file 1301, The Missing 40 Minutes. So this is almost a space-time reset, but just more space, because you remember. And I mean, you didn't describe the time exactly, but I assume that time really did pass like on clocks and everything. You didn't just reset in space-time, like the time itself, but also time was consistent. You had time to live through everything you describe happening. The album, the drive, the stuck in traffic, everything. But then your whole body and car was moved right back in front of your apartment building. How does that happen? I mean, aliens do that, but not in broad daylight where people are in, traffic everywhere. If aliens exist, I don't think they have perfect stealth technology, so I don't think this would be an alien event. No, I think you hit one of those really strange space-time portals that'll move you back in space-time, sometimes ahead, but it's just so weird because why would it send you back exactly to your apartment building? It would have to be tailored exactly for you. So who's creating these? That's just not some accident. The amount of positions your car could occupy if entering a random portal is virtually infinite. So why in front of your building? Someone engineered that specifically for you. Creepy file number 121, written by tpeiyn. The mysterious 4:30 a.m. knock. It's funny what the human mind can do. My husband works a weird schedule where he has to be at work at 3 a.m. I wake him up at 2 a.m., get his lunch together, and then go back to bed until my alarm at 5 a.m. I don't always go back to sleep right away because he's wandering around showering and getting dressed and making obscene amounts of noise. He usually leaves right around 2:50 a.m. Then I'm good to go back to sleep. Anyway, about a month ago, I woke back up at 4:30ish on a Friday morning. I swore I heard someone knocking. We have a doorbell camera at both doors, so I checked my phone. No one's there. The kids were in bed with me, and the dog was still sound asleep, so I knew it wasn't them. I decided it must have been a dream, but it freaked me out enough that I didn't go back to sleep. He was home for the next 2 nights, no knocking. I didn't think anything about it. Early Monday morning, same time, same place, checked the cameras, nothing there. Kids and dogs all snoring. Repeat for 3 more days. I became more and more convinced that someone was messing with me. But I couldn't figure out why. If someone was really watching the house, they would know that I was alone after 3 a.m. with the kids. It's easy enough to break in, ground level windows all around, and our doors aren't anything special. No reason to expend all this effort trying to get me up and out of bed to open the door, just break in. My irritability was growing as my sleep deprivation increased. I was having a harder and harder time sleeping after 3 a.m. because I was anticipating the knocking. I was mostly just kind of hanging out in bed and waiting. Finally, I decided to just stay awake and catch the person in the act. I set myself up in the living room, iced coffee, TV on, phone in hand, fully upright so I wouldn't fall asleep. Nothing happened. No more knocking. Just an idiot sitting on the couch for 2 hours, losing more sleep. My theory is that I was dreaming of someone knocking the first night, and I woke up mid-dream, unable to distinguish reality from my dream. I didn't have to wake up in the middle of the night the next 2 nights, so I slept better and deeper. He went back to work and the weird dreams started again because I wasn't sleeping solidly. The human mind does some crazy things. After, I was able to look at it with a clearer perspective and a few hours of sleep. I realized there was no way anyone could have been knocking at the door. I have a miniature dachshund. He barks at anything. A squirrel farting outside can result in a 5-minute barking frenzy. Knocks on the door cause hysteria. There is no way he would have slept through someone knocking at 4 a.m. I'm an idiot. Case notes for the creepy file number 121, the mysterious 4:30 a.m. knock. I think what actually happened is, in a different universe, there was really a knock. You were hearing, like when we're dreaming, we're accessing information beyond simply our memories and the universe we occupy. There's little tendrils that branch out into beyond the thin membrane of our universe, and we're gathering information beyond this singular universe. And in those other universes, there's instances where indeed someone was knocking at 4:30 a.m. And your brain is constantly simulating battles and struggles that could potentially come about. It's probably because you're concerned about someone breaking in, where your husband is already gone, and indeed, as you say, it would be pretty easy to determine that, yeah, this person is alone after their husband leaves if someone is watching the house daily. You have a dog, get better locks. Take every precaution you can to safeguard your home. It's worth it. Protect yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, like protecting yourself is a bad thing. No. That's one thing I really didn't like about Canada. You actually have a duty to retreat there. You can't even protect yourself legally. Unless there's no other option. You have to flee your own home. I don't want to get political, but come on, that's ridiculous, in my opinion. Bonus file written by Bubbisha, the super dog. I was 17 years old and left alone from Thursday to Sunday with our family's dog, who was pretty small and starting to have trouble climbing stairs in his old age. I'd be working every morning while my parents were out of town. Came home from my shift on Friday, and everything about the kitchen table was a mess. Napkins were taken out of the holder, all the mail was thrown on the floor, salt and pepper shakers on the other side of the kitchen but together, and one of the chairs pulled far away from the table. Our dog's never done anything like this, and I'd be especially surprised if he was even capable of climbing on top of the table. I reset it all. Saturday, I came back to find the exact same configuration. Don't have the pictures anymore, but every detail was just as I found it the day before. Pretty much the entire night I'm convinced there's gonna be a ghost coming to get me, and I sleep horribly and barely rest for work on Sunday. I left for work and made sure the place was orderly when I left because I knew my parents would be back before I was out of work. When I go on my lunch break, I call my mom and ask about all the details from the past 2 days, and she just goes, "Yeah, why did you leave such a mess?" She didn't get pictures, so I can't verify how similar the mess was, but regardless, I can't believe my old dog would have done that for 3 consecutive days, and I don't even know if he was strong enough to move the chairs or climb on the table. Only time anything like this has ever happened while I was left alone. Case notes for the bonus file, the super dog. So while I agree that the most likely explanation is that indeed, sadly, it's just some spirit messing with you, poltergeist spirit that's lonely, bored, prankster like myself, whatever. But more interesting and fun would be the idea that your dog, even though older in age, has mysterious access to bursts of power. A super dog in disguise, like he puts on a costume and in secret he's like Superman or Batman or something, going around protecting people from crime. That's really what we need. We need a dog Batman. I would love that. Someone make a movie about that. Now time for the quote of the day. The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest her or his patient in the care of the human frame, in a proper diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. Thomas A. Edison. So say what you will about Thomas Edison, but I think this is so precise. More about what we should do ourselves. Doctors will maybe give you advice to lose weight if you're overweight and eat better, but what does that really mean, right? These days it's so hard. There's conflicting information in dietary science on virtually everything. One thing will say that meat is bad, the other will say that it's great for you, others will say eggs are bad, they're great for you, and so on and so forth. Maybe the only thing that really doesn't have any conflicting information would be fruits. You just eat a lot of whole fruits. But I think you can boil it down to eat whole foods. And for me, it's very simple. Eat whole foods, walk a lot, get as many steps in as you can. You don't have to run, just walk. Low intensity, maybe swimming too, cycling. Just do some sort of daily physical activity. A lot of people have work from home jobs, sedentary office jobs, especially for people like that who don't work on their feet. It's very important to do active, low-intensity exercise, cardio. Just walk. That's it. That's what I do. I even just pace in my room sometimes watching a movie. You get your steps in, and it's fantastic for you. So whole foods and get good sleep. And maybe the getting good sleep is the hardest part, especially if you're on a tight schedule and you have to wake up by a certain time. I know that's one of the best things about running a YouTube channel and doing that for a living is I can sleep when I want and wake up when I want. So even though I naturally have a tendency to sleep later every night, that's okay. I still get my 7 to 8 hours in. And also just to say, you don't have to have 100% clean diet, like only whole foods. You can allow yourself some treats, but mostly whole food diet. And you'll be great. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.